Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the 25 books I want to read in 2025. With that being said, I'm going to throw in my 2025 reading goals since one of them is read 25 books. So it's not particularly these 25 books I am about to show, but that's just my reading goal. 25 books, any books. But the 25 books I want to read in 2025, I definitely do want to put priority into it, or at least get through most of it. For example, if I have a book that's not part of my 25 books in 2025 that I want to get through, that's okay, because as long as I read it, that counts towards my 25 books of my reading goal, if that makes sense. So that is my first goal of 2025. The second reading goal is to read a nonfiction book. So within this year, I want to read a nonfiction book, and I already have one in mind. And that is The Psychology of Money. My eldest sister told me about this ever since I was interested in the topic of money, starting the last quarter of 2024. I think this would be a great start to transition into reading a bit more nonfiction mixed with my fiction, since I just purely read fiction at the moment. And my last reading goal is to go through all the physical books I have on my TBR. I have counted all the books that I have not read yet that I own, and I have 35 books. And to be honest, since that's surpassing my reading goal this year, I want to say to complete half of it. So 18 books. I would say 18 books. So I want to complete at least 18 books out of the 35 books I have. So I believe some of them are here. Last year I made a 24 books in 2024 list, and I was being very ambitious there. I have sprinkles of new releases. I have new series I wanted to start, new authors that I wanted to try. Well, they're not really particularly new authors, they're just authors I have never read. For example, Sarah J Maas, I have not read any books from her prior to 2024, so I wanted to start on a couple of series with Sarah J Maas in it. I wanted to read Abby Jimenez, I wanted to read Emily Henry, etc., etc. So because of that, I'm gonna actually bring my reading journal. This page is part one of my 24 books in 2024. As you can see, I've had like 4 books here out of all those books that I have written on this page completed. And on this page, 5 books. So yeah, I was being a bit ambitious with my 24 books in 2024. And so this year I want to be more realistic. So I do have like 2 new releases I want to try to get to, and a lot of the books that I have on my 25 books of 2025, did I say 24 or 25? 25 books in 2025. These books are series that I want to finish. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. I mean, the video already started. Some of these books that I have, these are going to be part of the 25 books I want to get to in 2025. I will have some knocked out of my 35 books that are on my physical TBR. So I'm excited for that. So let's start with this huge stack here, right? These books here are, you can guess what it is. It is the Throne of Glass series. I am late to the party for sure, but I don't have all the books. As you can see, I only have the first 7. I did not include Assassin's Blade in here because I've read that in 2024, at the end of 2024. So I'm thinking of doing a reading vlog for the Throne of Glass series, and to be honest, I don't think it's gonna come out anytime soon, but I hope that this video will come out by the end of this year. So I plan to read the first book next month in February, and hopefully I can get through these quickly. I'm excited about the tandem read, which is these 2 books here, The Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. There are a few reading orders to this series. I actually started with Assassin's Blade first, and then going in to the rest of the series. I know some readers read Assassin's Blade before Heir of Fire or after Heir of Fire, and I'm not sure. People are saying that it's because if you read it before or after, the emotions are real. Whereas if you read in the beginning, it's not as intense. But I'm kind of glad that I started with Assassin's Blade first, because that pretty much gave me the whole background of what's to come with this series. So with that being said, these knock off seven books out of the 25 books in my 25 books of 2025. So I'm excited for that. The next series I want to finish this year, I don't have the physical books with me. I actually borrow it from the library, and it's the Natural series. I've already read the first book last year and I really enjoyed it. One note about the Naturals is that I was not a fan of, I guess, a love triangle that's about to blossom. I don't know, that's kind of the vibe I got. There was going to be a love triangle, or just even the love interest in it, I really didn't care for. But just the true crime aspect with the YA supernatural powers in it really drew me into the book. And you also get a little insight of how a serial killer thinks. That is the Natural series, so I'm excited to finish the rest of the series. I've heard really good things about it, so I want to continue with that in 2025. I actually have the Killer Instinct, which is the second book, coming in. I think it's ready to be picked up from the library, so I'm going to put that in my February TBR instead of reading it this month. This month I did want to read it in January, but since it didn't come in time and we're already in the middle of January, I have a few other books I want to get to, and I have yet to finish a book. The third series I want to start is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have a thing with buying the paperback. If I have a paperback of the first book, I would like the other releases to come as a paperback as well. So that is why I don't have the third book yet. It is coming out in April of this year, so I will definitely pick it up. To be honest, I haven't even started, so I don't know why I'm buying all these series, but the covers are beautiful. So, and I love the spine. They're very pretty. So, unpopular opinion, I think I prefer these covers over the UK editions. I definitely want to get into this. I heard it's a fairy tale kind of fantasy. So I love fairy tales, so I'm pretty excited to dive into this world here. However, following up with this, there is actually a trilogy prior to the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy that you should read, but it's not necessary. But if you want to get the whole experience, then you would have to read the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I have heard that people like the Once Upon a Broken Heart way better than the Caraval, and Caraval was just mid. Because I've thought about this for such a long time, I did not know whether I want to read the Caraval trilogy or the Once Upon a Broken Heart. And then if I liked the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I would go into the Caraval trilogy. But I think there's some spoilers in Caraval that kind of appear in here. Just by my experience with the Shadow and Bone trilogy and into the Six of Crows duology, I was going to read this first, but I decided to hold off on reading the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy and start with the Caraval. And because I'm not sure if I will enjoy Caraval, I decided to borrow them from the library. So that is the goal for the two trilogies. So that knocks off 6 more on my 25 books in 2025. Maybe I should talk about Caraval a little bit more. All I know about Caraval is that it's giving Night Circus. So it's kind of a magical circus. That's all I know for it. And I heard really good things about it. Actually, I heard mixed things about it. I want to see where I lie between the two categories, whether I will love it or I will not. I'm going to try Caraval. If I do not enjoy Caraval, I'm just going to jump right into Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy and see if I enjoy this. If I don't, then this is going to be unhauled. But they're so pretty. The next series I want to finish is the Magnolia Parks universe. So there are 5 books currently out. Most likely they're going to come out with another Daisy Hates. So right now there are 3 Magnolia Parks. I heard all 3 Magnolia Parks are completed, and then there's 2 Daisy Hates at the moment. So with that being said, I think there's going to be another Daisy Hates coming out. By the order of it, it goes first book Magnolia Parks, and second book Daisy Hates, third book Magnolia Parks, fourth book Daisy Hates, and fifth book wrapping up the Magnolia Parks universe. And I'm assuming we're gonna come back to, just by the pattern of it, Daisy Hates. With that being said, I'm really excited to finish the series. I heard so many good things about it, and so far I'm currently enjoying it. Magnolia Parks is, to be honest, I can't really remember much of it, but maybe I will do a reread of the Magnolia Parks universe once I actually get through all the books, because I don't know, if I just start now, I don't want to backtrack. I just want to read more books that I haven't read yet. And between whether I like the Magnolia Parks books versus the Daisy Hates books, so far I like Daisy Hates books because Daisy Hates has a mafia crime lord aspect to it, so it's very intriguing over the gossipy Magnolia Parks high society kind of life. We'll see by the end of the Magnolia Parks universe whether I prefer the Magnolia Parks books or the Daisy Hates books. I forgot 2 other books on my stash. So the next series I want to get into is the Fourth Wing series. I don't think it's called the Fourth Wing series. I think there's actually a name to it. And for the first book, we have Fourth Wing, and I have heard only good things about it. I heard that people just finish this in one sitting. It's just so addictive. I can't wait to read this. It's about dragons. I think you have a competition, and I think there's a romance in here that people like too. I just remember the dragons. And the spine is not spine, but the paper, I mean, like the sprayed edges is so pretty. And I heard that Iron Flame wasn't that great of a book, and the writing there was just like a lot of typos going on in the writing, or it felt very rushed, like the author wanted to produce this book as soon as possible. But regardless, I think I'm going to really enjoy reading these 2. And the third book is coming out sometime this month, I think January 21st, and that is Onyx Storm. That will be the first new release that I will be reading in 2025, and so I'm excited to get through this series as well. So now we come to the last 3 books on my 25 books that I want to read in 2025, and they're all standalone. Well, actually, like they don't really connect. Like it's not part of a series like this. They don't really relate with one another. So anyway, the first book being Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I heard about this book on Haley Pham's channel way back. I don't even remember when she posted it, but when she first talked about the Better Than the Movies book, I was intrigued about reading it, so I decided to pick it up, and I picked this up last year and never got around to reading it. I heard this is a YA. Is it fake dating? I don't know. I think this is about the main female character wanting to get with this male character. I don't know if he's a main male character, but let's just say that for now. But I think either his friend or her friend is trying to get them together, and I don't know if there's fake dating between the friend and the main girl, but romance blossoms. So, and it's also during prom season, I believe. I think I'm going to start reading this sometime in June, so this might be in my summer TBR. Yeah, I'm excited. This is the first book of the Better Than the Movies. I think it's a duology. I know the second book came out, which is nothing like the movies. I don't know if I will read that one, but I will definitely read Better Than the Movies for now, especially since Haley Pham loves this book. I want to see if I love it too. Finally, to end my 25 books I want to read in 2025 is going to be a new release, and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez. I say that in every video so far. Abby Jimenez is my auto-buy author, so she's gonna put out a book, I'm going to get it. I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video when I was talking about my reading goals of 2025, but I wanted to get through all my physical books in my TBR, and there's 35 of them. A disclaimer, if I buy any new books, that does not count as the 35 books. That's the thing. If I get Say You'll Remember Me, that is not going to be part of my 35 books I want to get through, because a lot of these books that I have here have been here for more than a year, or has been here for more than 6 months. Those are the books I definitely want to get through and see if I really want to keep these books, because I do not want to keep books that are not 5-star reads or something that I don't think I'm going to pick up again. Let's go back to talking about Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Say You'll Remember Me, honestly, I have no idea what it's about. And that's not surprising for me because I usually do not know what a book is about before getting in. I like to go into a book blind for the most part. Most of the time, I do not read the back of the book. I look at a lot of recommendations, and if a booktuber enjoys a book, I will pick it up with their description of the book or recommendation by family and friends. All I know is that Say You Remember Me, from the title, it's giving Taylor Swift from her song. Yeah, that's all I know about it. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the book, but knowing that it's by Abby Jimenez, I'm going to really enjoy it. So, and that wraps up the 25 books I want to get to in 2025, featuring my 2025 reading goals. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.